So there's a new treadmill at NordicTrack. Meet the NordicTrack X24. It's at the top of their lineup and it's the latest incline trainer. The X24 is certainly impressive, but did it live up to our expectations? Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Sydney at TRG. So we've tested several versions of NordicTrack's incline trainers over the years. These are some of our favorite treadmills that we recommend to people who want the best of the best. Before I dive into this review of the X24, make sure to like and subscribe. We test all kinds of treadmills and fitness equipment, and we have a lot of content lined up for you. And we also have an affiliate link in the description below. If you purchase through here, it helps us out at no extra cost to you, so we can keep making these reviews. You can also check the current price at our link. The time of filming this, the X24 is $4,499. Yes, it's a splurge, but you're not going to find another treadmill with as many training features as this one. All right, so let's get into the construction and start with all of the training capabilities that you can do on this treadmill. But first, let's make sure it's going to fit in your home. So it's a big beast. The dimensions are around 70 inches long, 38 inches wide, and 73.3 inches tall. It's actually a little bit smaller than we expected, but don't get me wrong, this is still a large treadmill that requires a designated space. It weighs 445 pounds when it's delivered in the box, so we don't advise moving it really at all. There are front transportation wheels, so it can be moved, but I can't move it. I've been working on getting my muscle back after pregnancy, but I'm not able to pick it up and wheel it around just yet. Maybe I'll get there. Matt can move it, but he really hates moving it. So if you can lift it up, you'll probably hate moving it too. With everything that this treadmill can do, we don't want it to be light or even foldable, but that means that it's not best to use really in an upper level floor or anywhere that it doesn't have its own spot. Now, something to keep in mind is that the X24 inclines higher than most treadmills. So it has a tall step-up height. So when the deck's flat like this, it is 14 inches high up from the floor to the side rails. So keep this in mind if you have mobility issues. It might be hard for some people to step up onto the deck. You'll also need to factor in the deck height to make sure you have a tall enough ceiling to use the X24. So just as having enough floor space is important, having enough ceiling height is also important. Now, a big reason why the X24 is so large and heavy is the frame. It supports the deck and there are steel beams on the floor frame, and then the steel uprights extend up to hold the console and touchscreen. And along with its heavy weight, the X24 supports a lot of weight. It has a 400-pound weight limit and it's solid. This is a heavy-duty treadmill and it's pretty sleek with this all-black design. The upper and side handles are well within reach. So our team ranges from about 5'1", that's me, up to 6'5", that's Matt, and we can all reach the handles just fine. There isn't a front horizontal handle, unfortunately, but I tend to use the side handles the most when the deck is flat, when I'm running, and the upper handles when it's inclined. And in order to do all the things, it has to have a really powerful motor. So it has a 4.25 continuous horsepower motor. This is the largest motor size that we see on home treadmills. So the X24 is made to handle a lot of training. So you can think distance training for one person, even a whole family. The X24 can handle it. It goes up to 12 miles per hour, which is a 5-minute mile running pace. So the speed is pretty standard, but the deck inclines up to 40% and declines to -6%. So this incline is intense. I can barely walk at like 2 miles per hour for a few minutes at it. Now there is a speed cap for the incline and decline just for safety. I promise that you'll still get in a great workout, but it caps out at 8 miles per hour once you're at the 16% incline, and then it'll cap out at 6 miles per hour when you reach 25% up to that 40%, so you can only go up to 6 miles per hour, which you can do that, that's pretty insane. And the decline, the speed caps at 8 miles per hour when you're at the -3%, and then 6 miles per hour at the full 6% decline. And then you can walk, jog, run, hike, and hit train on the X24. We timed how long it takes the motor to go from 1 miles per hour up to 12 miles per hour, and it's fast. It only takes about 15 seconds, so it's really great for interval training. And currently, these new NordicTrack treadmills that we're testing are faster to adjust than other brands like Peloton and Horizon that were fastest previously in our testing. And the incline and decline are also fast. I never have to wait for the speed incline or decline to adjust. Now the motor isn't the quietest we've tested. I'm going to hop on later so you can see and hear it in action. Motorized treadmills make noise, and the noise increases with the speed. And if you're looking for an extremely quiet treadmill, we have a full list at treadmillreviewguru.com. The new 2450 and 1750 from NordicTrack are a little quieter than this one, but none of these treadmills that we've tested that are quieter than the X24 offer the same level of training options, especially the incline range. So before we even hopped on the X24 to test it, we measured the deck because it actually looks a little smaller than what it is. I think from maybe this rectangular design and sharper edges, but it is 22 inches wide and 60 inches long when we measured it. So this is the ideal size for all running strides and for using that 40% incline. I did notice that the console is suspended a little bit more over the middle of the deck rather than the front of the deck. So this is good for inclining. We noticed on the previous incline trainers that you'd be positioned really high up on the deck in order to be able to reach the upper handles. And with the handles and console positioned a little further back, we can reach the upper handles just fine. I was also nervous with this design about losing some of the length of the deck for running, but we haven't had any problems running and using the X24 at higher speeds, so this is a good deck size. And we were really eager to test out the deck cushioning. So this is the shock absorption or the amount of give in the deck when your feet land while running. Running is a high impact activity, and different treadmill decks feel different to run on. Some feel firmer and some feel softer than others. So NordicTrack has some of the softest deck cushioning we've tested. The previous incline trainers were the softest. The X24 isn't quite as soft as the previous X32i, but that treadmill would feel a little bit bouncy. I felt like it was kind of like running on a trampoline when you'd get up to speeds of over like 8 or 9 miles per hour or so. The X24 has been improved to eliminate the bounciness, so the cushioning feels more consistent no matter what speed you're at. I think it feels more similar to running on the NordicTrack commercial series, so the 2450 and 1750. And these treadmills still have softer deck cushioning than other brands of home treadmills that we've tested, so you have joint sensitivity. This is a great treadmill for that. It's also nice if you run outside or you hike and you want to train on something softer than surfaces outside. And with the cushioning, the X24 feels really solid to run on, which is definitely what you want with a treadmill that inclines as high as this one. And NordicTrack includes a lifetime motor warranty, which we're really thankful for. Their standard 10-year frame, 2-year parts, and 1-year labor warranty is also included. And for assembly, you'll need at least 2 people, maybe even 3 people with how large and heavy this treadmill is. All right, now let's get into all of the tech features. So the X24 is impressive on its own, but a big part of the experience is on this touchscreen. So this is a 24-inch touchscreen. Since the X24 is essentially replacing the NordicTrack X32i, which had a massive 32-inch touchscreen, you might be thinking that this is a downgrade, but it's actually not. Yes, that was a larger touchscreen, but the handles cut off that big screen, so it was kind of wasted. This 24-inch touchscreen just fits better between the handles, so there's nothing blocking it, and it doesn't block the cup holders like the screen did on the X32i. You had to reach around to grab them. The cup holders are a little shallow on the X24, but they hold my 40-ounce hydro jug, so I consider that a win. And they'll hold a standard water bottle too. And the touchscreen is really adjustable, so it tilts up and down so you can get a better view of it depending on your height. And then it pivots to either side so you can see it when you're training off the treadmill. And the upper handles block the screen a little bit when the screen is pivoted, but it's nice to be able to turn the screen to get more use out of iFIT, and I'll get into iFIT in a moment. But this screen is pretty slim and it stays still. There's maybe like a tiny bit of shake when I run at higher speeds, but it isn't noticeable when I'm running. The screen also has some glare. We notice that the screen, when it's darker, the glare is a little bit more noticeable, but when the content is bright, like in iFIT workouts, it isn't noticeable. But angling the screen helps a little bit with the glare too. Now, this console design is streamlined with most of the functionality now on the touchscreen. There aren't very many adjustment buttons, so you have your start and stop buttons and the incline and speed buttons to adjust the speed by 1/10 and then the incline by 0.5%. But there aren't any numbered quick adjusting buttons to jump to different speeds and inclines easily on the console anymore. These are now on the touchscreen, so they work pretty much the same as the quick adjusting buttons. The buttons on the right are for the speed, so when I press 4, it will adjust to 4 miles per hour, and then when I press 20 on the left side, the deck will incline up to 20%. It's a little hard to use these buttons while running. I think maybe some adjustment buttons on the side handles would be nice, but considering the screen is positioned back on the deck with this console design that I was talking about earlier, like I said, it's kind of right in front of my face, so it's really easy to be able to reach the screen, and then I can reach the console buttons and the screen while I'm inclined. And the speakers are clear and loud, which is good for all of the content on the screen. And the fan is also pretty effective. You can't position the vents, you can't change the position of it, but there's multiple airflow settings. And the fan hits my face and neck. One thing to keep in mind is that there isn't a device rack, so you can't prop up like your phone, tablet, or a book on the console. Instead, you're locked into the touchscreen that offers iFIT. Now, the X24 has the new 2.0 version of iFIT that's been updated to include new features. And a lot of the features are currently in beta testing, so you can check out my X24 written review at treadmillreviewguru.com to stay up to date on all the features. I'll be updating that review with any updates or changes to iFIT in the coming months. But right now I'm going to go through everything that's currently available on the screen. So iFIT is a popular training platform that has indoor and outdoor filmed workouts. The indoor workouts are pretty standard. They're filmed indoors with the instructor on a treadmill or an exercise mat, so that's where the pivoting touchscreen comes in handy, because you can turn the screen and do strength training or yoga from the treadmill screen. But the outdoor workouts are what set iFIT apart from other training subscriptions. There are thousands of workouts filmed in places all over the world. These workouts follow the instructor as they walk, run, and hike through different locations and different terrain. And iFIT is one of my favorite training subscriptions because of their outdoor workouts. And probably my favorite feature is Smart Adjust. So this is where the X24 automatically adjusts the speed and the grade of the deck. So when you take a few of iFIT's workouts, it gauges your intensity to adjust in those workouts to adjust the treadmill to the speed that it thinks is appropriate for you based on the instructor's cues. And the deck adjusts to match the terrain in the outdoor workouts that it's filmed in, so it'll adjust if you're hiking up a mountain. And this is cool, so you don't have to worry about, where you should adjust the treadmill to when you're working out. And then Active Pulse is another feature that allows for hands-free training. This is where the X24 adjusts based on your heart rate to keep you within specific heart rate training zones. You'll need a compatible heart rate tracker like NordicTrack's armband that's sold separately or a Garmin watch. Unfortunately, my Apple Watch doesn't connect to the X24 or really any of the treadmills that we have. I can sync my iFIT workouts to track them in the Apple Health app, but hopefully Apple will make their watches more compatible with fitness equipment in the future. iFIT now has create your own workouts, so you can create customized intervals or you can do targeted time, distance, and calorie goal workouts. So these are nice if you don't want to follow along with an instructor, but you still want the X24 to automatically adjust. And iFIT now has streaming apps. So Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, and Spotify are available to stream from the screen when you subscribe to iFIT. So you just need to log into your existing account for each of these apps to stream. And I really like how they're integrated into iFIT. So I can take a trainer-led workout and then I can mute the instructor and I can watch a Netflix show and the X24 will still automatically adjust. And the Spotify is really nice to have. So I don't love iFIT's music. It plays in the background of each workout and it's fine. It's kind of like listening to the radio. There isn't any music integrated into the workouts, so you don't have curated playlists for each workout. So just logging into my Spotify and choosing what I want to listen to is a really nice option that I like. And there's still iFIT's music options. You can skip through songs instead of changing the station. So that's a nice update there. And there's a Coach AI feature that's coming. This is where you can chat with iFIT's AI coach to get specific workout recommendations. It will also schedule iFIT workouts for you to take. So once this feature becomes available, I'll update my written review to let you know what we think of it. Now, all of these features are only available when you subscribe to iFIT, even the streaming apps. You can use the X24 without a subscription, but really the outdoor workouts, the streaming apps, and the automatic adjustability are a big part of the overall experience on the X24. But without a subscription, you can use manual mode. So you can use this in iFIT too, but manual mode is available with or without connecting the X24 to Wi-Fi. There's also some onboard workouts and a few featured iFIT workouts that you can access when you create a free iFIT account. So these have been becoming a little bit harder to get into, so just keep this in mind. With how much functionality is built into the touchscreen and all of the updates that have been made to iFIT, iFIT is a big aspect of the X24. All right, now I'm gonna hop on the X24. I'm going to walk, run on it, incline and decline it so you can see it all. So I'm at a flat grade, start at 3 miles per hour. Let's go to 6 miles per hour. And 9 miles per hour. All right, let's go to that negative 6% decline. And the full 40%. So, as you can see, this is a very challenging treadmill, but it's powerful and not the quietest, but overall, we're really impressed with the motor and everything that it can do. All right, here's Matt. He's 6'5", walking at 3 miles per hour. At 6 miles per hour. At 9 miles per hour. Thanks for watching my review of the new NordicTrack X24. I have to say that we have high expectations for treadmills because we test a lot of them, but NordicTrack's incline trainers constantly exceed our expectations with everything that they can do. The X24 inclines up to 40% and it declines to negative 6%. The motor is very well powered and it's quick to adjust, so it's made to handle heavy training, plus it's backed by a lifetime motor warranty. It also handles up to 400 pounds, so it'll handle most people. And it has a comfortable deck cushioning, so it feels soft underfoot than other home treadmills, which is great if you get discomfort while running like I do. And all of this is just what the treadmill itself offers. When you subscribe to iFIT, you can access thousands of trainer-led workouts on the touchscreen, along with streaming apps like Netflix and Spotify. And the screen also pivots to do iFIT's mat workouts like yoga and strength training and treadmill bootcamp classes. And the X24 automatically adjusts in iFIT based on your prior effort and previous workouts, and it adjusts based on your heart rate for heart rate training. There is limited functionality in the touchscreen without iFIT, and there's less physical adjustment buttons on the console, so most of the treadmill's functionality is in the screen, so we recommend subscribing to iFIT. I think with everything it has to offer and all of the updates that have been made, iFIT is worth it, and it's a big part of the overall training experience on the NordicTrack X24. To learn more, head over to treadmillreviewguru.com. I have a full written review of the X24 with even more details there. And to check the current price, click the link in the description and make sure to like and subscribe. We have new reviews coming. I'm Sydney at TRG. I'll see you next time.